Okay, so today I'm gonna give my personal thoughts and opinions on a video game I've been playing, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt plus 2 expansions. And I finished this game quite some time ago, and I do have quite a bit to say about it, so if you're interested in listening about things, I will go into major spoilers, plot details, so if you don't want that, then maybe this isn't the video for you. But if you don't care either way and you just want to know what I think about this game, then continue. So with that out of the way, let's go. So The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt was developed by Polish game developer CD Projekt Red and is the third game in the Witcher 3 series. Now, funnily enough, before Wild Hunt came out, I knew nothing about the Witcher series. I mean, I would say that I am very well versed in the world of gaming. There is very few stuff that I would feel goes completely under my radar. But funnily enough, before 2015, never heard of The Witcher 1 or 2. Never even saw it once, really, online in stores. And funnily enough, when The Witcher 3 came out, I didn't really feel like there was very much hype surrounding this game. I mean, I remember just how hyped up Skyrim was in the months before it came out, how that game's trailer was just, spreading across the internet like wildfire. And there was memes about it and everything about that, and everybody was all the way up to the duck's nuts about that game, and it came out, and I played it, and yeah, it was a good game. I would say that it probably almost lived up to the hype and the expectations. But this game just came out, and it wasn't really until quite a bit afterward that you hear the reviews about this game saying it's one of the greatest games ever made, it's a masterpiece, it's the best thing since sliced bread, really. So I played the game. So do I think this game is perfect? No, I don't. I do not think it's perfect. But do I think it is an amazing experience that any gamer should definitely try out? Yeah, I would say so. So yeah, it did have a really good story, and this was a long ass game. I mean, it took me over a year to finish it. It just keeps on going and going and going, and you never know when it's going to end. And when you think it's half over, you only realize you're half done. And there are several parts of the game where it says, "Are you sure you want to keep on continuing? Because if you go past this point, there's no going back." This is a very choice-driven game, and I mean it has lots of different branches that I probably haven't even explored yet. It's one of those few games that are really designed on like your choices and how they will outweigh the story. I mean, in like the game's slogan, it says your choices shape history, and I would kind of agree with that. I wouldn't say it's like as consequence heavy as a game like Undertale or something like that, but I really didn't really get to any points in the game that I was judged for what I was choosing. It just felt like the story was branching in a certain direction. And I mean, and the writing is good too. I did really like Geralt as a character. He's very gruff. He's a bit aloof. People say that he's emotionless. So I guess the reason why witches are hated is maybe they're like this world's version of sociopaths, maybe. But Geralt does have a heart. He does care about what he's doing, and he does care about the characters around him. And despite his limitations, his emotional bluntness and his, of course, his sterility, which is brought up a lot in the game, he's a good character, and you do root for him in this game because you are the one that's playing as him after all. It's not like an Elder Scrolls game where you can just choose whatever character you want to be, what race, what ethnicity. And I think the reason why Skyrim didn't have all of those branching dialogue options is that because you can choose of many characters, and maybe it was too much for the game developers to focus all of these dialogue options on all these different languages and different voice actors and stuff like that. But with Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, it's one character that you play as, and it's a full experience. You gain experience points. You can ask different questions, and I'm pretty sure the things that you say do have branching options. Now, this game does have magic in it, but it's not like something like the more standardized thing, like wizards and spells and mages. It's called signs, and at first I thought it was kind of limited. I mean, you're kind of restricted to like 5 different options. One of them is you set like a purple trap that traps enemies. They're all like based on a color, so like the trap is purple. The Axie sign is green, and you can use this to calm monsters and delude kids, which is always fun. And yeah, you can delude people in this game by like putting them under your will, which is fun. It's a fun option, and it's always fun when you do it. But also about these signs, that these 5 different categories can be leveled up when you gain experience, and things in this game called mutagens, which is kind of sci-fi for a fantasy game. I mean, mostly it's fantasy, but the whole thing of witching mutations, that almost like they were sprinkling a little bit of science fiction in there. And it's a nice touch. I don't really see many fantasy games do that. I've never really seen anything that completely blends fantasy with science fiction before. So yeah, it's something new, something fresh, I guess. Straight off the bat, let's talk about the world of this game. So this world is pretty damn huge. I mean, it is split into 5 different regions, and another region is unlocked when you play the Blood and Wine expansion, which is like another kingdom that you can go to that's all obsessed about wine, which is pretty funny. And yeah, so you start off in what's called Velen, which is the area which the city of Novigrad is situated in. And I really like this place. It's a very well realized fantasy city. You can see a lot of crazy time was put into making this this town as living and breathing as possible. There's heaps of NPCs just walking around, and you can speak to almost every one of them. You can even go into some houses and, you know, steal their books and stuff and talk to people inside the houses. But most of the houses are locked, so there's only a few that you can go into. But it's a good town, and I really enjoyed just how much detail was put into it. And then you get to a point in the game where you visit the Skellige Isles, which is kind of like this vast, expansive array of isles separated by bodies of water. And I also really like this this area. It's full of, as I said, full of great characters, lots of things to explore, treasure to find, and very detailed, expansive, epic as well. But of course, you're gonna spend most of that time in your little boat, paddling along, and it takes ages to get from point A to point B by boat or swimming. But of course, once you get to these places, you can unlock your fast travel options, and you can fast travel. Another thing I didn't like about this game was the loading. The loading was very long and boring, but it's a really big game, so you can kind of expect that. So, and I'm pretty sure as like technology continues to evolve past this game, there will be games that come out in the future that will make this game look like a bit of a joke. Like, I mean, look how people reacted to Ocarina of Time when it came out, how vast and expansive that world is. And I mean, it's tiny by today's standards. I mean, all of the areas in Ocarina of Time are basically pretty claustrophobic when you think about it. Very small, very boxed in. Hyrule Field was open and expansive, but that's the hub. I mean, the hub is supposed to be the area where you're getting to the different places. It shouldn't be the center of attention, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So the regions were very well thought out, well crafted, and the gameplay is good. As I said, the combat system, it's fine. I mean, it's all right. You get your weak attack, you get your strong attack, you get your parry. Something that I didn't like though is that sometimes the controls felt a little unresponsive. Like I'm using my whatever the shield sign is. I'm pretty sure that name will come back to me sooner or later. And I've got like the spherical shield that when the enemies hit you, you get to regenerate health. And sometimes I'm pulling down the trigger and it's not working, or it's delayed, and it's a bit frustrating because I need that to activate. And sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes Geralt will The jumping was awkward. Sometimes Geralt won't be able to sit down in the boat properly for you to get somewhere. Also, one thing I didn't like about this, I have to bring this up, I didn't like the crossbow. I felt like the crossbow was really wonky, really awkward to use. It was never fun to use for me. It was just something that got in the way. And it's the only ranged weapon in this game. The bows and arrows in Skyrim are much more fun to use. I mean, in Skyrim, when you shoot an arrow, it does like a slow motion bullet time tracking shot with the arrow. And I thought that was really neat. I don't know why other games don't do this, but I thought that was a really neat feature. This game doesn't have that. No other bows and arrows. But the swords are great, really good swords, and you can like add perks to your swords and like put rune stones in them and stuff like that. But I wasn't a fan of the crossbow. I thought that thing was really clunky. I also didn't really like the horse controls. I didn't like how you had to hold down the X button and move the horse without being able to touch your camera controls while galloping. It was a bit awkward. And I mean, like Ghost of Tsushima fixed this problem where you just click down the joystick and you can move the camera with the other stick, but you get used to it. I mean, a lot of games it will have minor things that annoy you, but of course when you play them, you'll be able to put up with them more because you get more used to them. But enough about that. So the controls aren't perfect. The controls are a little bit wonky. But another real strong point about this game is the characters. There are so many characters in this game, like too many to count. You have like a whole glossary falling down like almost 100 different individual characters. I mean, it's pretty mind-blowing just how many there are in this game. And the monster list is very big too. A lot of games that have left me, like these big games like Halo, where you're only like fighting like 3 types of enemies, like the grunts, the brutes, and the elites, and that's about it. And I mean, in Halo, at least, even though there's so few types of enemies, they do like use them in very creative ways and put them in places that are very well thought out. But like in this game, you get like a crazy amount of different monsters that you can fight and kill, and they all like have their own lore, and you can like read up and like what makes each one of these monsters tick. And it's very entertaining. Had a really nice system where you can just go to, and if you want to learn about a certain monster, it's very easy to pick up and find and things like that. And the alchemy system is pretty good too. It's not like in Skyrim where you have to go to like a certain table and you can mix all your ingredients there. Like once you really find your ingredients, you can make them yourself. And more advanced ones, you go to your alchemist, which is certain places dotted around the map in certain towns, and they can make things for you. Though I'm not really the best at doing this. I mean, I'm playing throughout the game, and I only like about 5 to 10% of anything that I can unlock. I can, because there are just so many items to collect in this game, and I mean, I've gone through an entire game, and I've still haven't been able to craft like 10% of the stuff that you can do in this game. So I will go into a few spoilers about, maybe major spoilers about the base game, the original game, without the expansions. I won't go much in spoilers of the Heart of Stone, Blood and Wine expansion, just if you really wanted to experience this blindly for yourself. But I will go into some plot details of Wild Hunt. So there are some really good characters in this game. I really did like Ciri. I really did like how Geralt really cared about her and wanted to track her down and being able to find her and see how she was doing. I mean, the entire game is just you looking for Ciri with a bunch of crazy quests along the way. And the cool thing about this game is that you can play as her as well. At very, very minor occasions you can play as her, but you can play her. And she's a very depth character. There's a lot of story about her personality, how you can, I don't know, just how... I mean, she's a really complicated character. There's also Yennefer, which I guess is Geralt's current girlfriend, I guess. There was this one bloke at the start that was kind of like Geralt's mentor, but he was in the game for like about maybe 2 hours. Then you don't see him again. And I like that character, but maybe I forgot what happened to him. Maybe he just got killed. Maybe he did die, and I just don't remember it. But he's gone, and there is this character in the game. he's actually responsible for like writing all of the lore and all the character things, and he has like this funny hat. I also forget his name as well, but he was a funny character in the game, and you have to pay him a certain point in the game, like 100 crowns, which is the game's currency. There's like 3 different currencies in this game. You've got crowns, florins, and orins. I think that's about it. Get to Skellige. And so yeah, but I mean, like, the only real 3 characters I remember from the main game was Yennefer, Ciri, his mentor, and the guy with the funny hat, basically. That's all that I really remember. But the main meat of this game is just how good the quests are. I mean, they're so long, and they're so detailed, and they're so well thought out, and I mean, there was one that that really challenged me and threw me for a loop, and that was Family Matters. I didn't realise that to finish that quest, I had to actually start another quest. An unrelated quest that was connected to Family Matters, and you couldn't finish that quest until you could finish that one. And the game didn't tell you how to do that. It was the only quest in the entire game where I really had to look up and figure out how to finish this thing, because it wasn't really clear of how the game was, of how you were supposed to finish this thing. I think it was just like you had to take a chance of blind luck and just play another one of the previous quests to progress this one. So I'm not sure if that was intentional, but it did throw me for a loop, so there's that. The game is challenging, at least. It's even get challenged on story and sword. I mean, I've played most of it on just the story, and there were still parts that really threw me for a loop. There was a several boss battle that I kept on dying, had to come back later. But yeah, this game will challenge you. But as I said, it's not the most complicated combat system. It's not like something like in like the Zelda games and Twilight Princess, you get to like learn all these different finishing blows and all these different swordplay techniques. And in The Witcher 3, you get a fast attack and a strong attack, and you can sidestep and dodge. And that's basically it. I mean, the combat could have been better, but of course, you got to, you have the signs to play with as well, which I also thought was a bit simple as well. But of course, you can also upgrade them, and they start to get more complicated. So it is a nice system overall. Not a perfect system, but it gets the job done. And of course, I can't talk about The Witcher 3 without Gwent, the in-game card game, which is kind of like the world's version of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic the Gathering. It's a skill-based card game, so it's cool that it's not based on luck. It's based upon what you actually have in your deck and how you can use your cards. I wasn't a big fan of this game at first. I found it to be quite confusing. I didn't really know what to do. But I kind of caught on to it later on, and I am starting to make sense of it all. I mean, basically, it's kind of like a card version of like a 3-layered battle system where like you got swordsmen, you got archers, and you got like trebuchet people. And of course, you've got your different factions based on different regions of The Witcher 3, like Skellige and Velen and things like that. And it's entertaining. It's a fun game, and you can see that CD Projekt Red put a lot of thought into this game, how it ties into the main storyline. Because there are some quests in this game where you just have to play Gwent with a bunch of people and win. And yeah, as I said, I'm not good at Gwent. I have won a few rounds, but I just can't completely really wrap my head around it. Too many variables going on and stuff like that. But it is enjoyable, and I know there is that CD Projekt Red actually released Gwent as a standalone game that you can play with real people, just called Gwent. I think it's free to play. Probably something like Hearthstone or something like that. I'm not really into card games, but I can see why a lot of people love it. And also, the graphics of this game. The graphics of this game is pretty darn beautiful. I mean, for a PS4 game, it's really good. It's, as I said, the buildings look really crisp and really, they're not jagged in any way. They're very detailed. I mean, nothing is rushed here, really. I mean, everything looks very beautiful. I mean, the trees swaying, the wind, the water is very nice looking. It's not just like grey or dull. It's very colourful. A lot of light refracting in it. Very reflective. And so yeah, it's really good. I mean, it makes my PS4 go into overdrive just playing it. It makes so much noise when it plays this game. And of course the loading times are there. But overall, very good use of graphics. Definitely a very high power PS4 game. Funnily enough, like when you look at the storage of this game, it's actually pretty small compared to other PS4 games that are in my library. So I guess maybe The Witcher 3's trick is that it makes the world look bigger by splitting different regions up in different spaces. And since there are distances that you have to travel between these regions, it makes the world feel even larger than it actually is. And the maps themselves are very large. There is so much to uncover, so many caves to explore and treasure chests and things like that. So yeah, it's very fun if you just want to explore the world and just see what this thing has to offer. So overall, what's my final opinion of this game? As I said, it's not, I don't think it's perfection. I mean, very few things are, but I mean, like the combat could have been a bit better. The science system I thought could have been tweaked a bit. Some of the controls were a bit unresponsive, didn't work all the time. But overall, it's a great story, great characters. I love all the dialogue options that you get in this game and all the choices you can make. And the deluding people is fun. And overall, just a really good RPG experience. And I think for that, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I mean, of course, there are some cons to this game, a few things hampering it, but of course, it's a really good effort, and you can see why so many people love it. And overall, it kind of future RPG makers can take notes from this game or what this game did. As well as Skyrim. I like Skyrim and The Witcher 3 for different reasons. They both have their strengths and weaknesses. I felt that Skyrim had a better skill tree. I like Skyrim's leveling up system a bit better, where you can level up in certain categories that levels up right in the moment, instead of just spending things like in this game. But so that's my review of The Witcher 3. I didn't really talk much about the expansions, but it's the same thing with Witcher 3 in a different story and different places that you can go, and they're definitely worth your time and money. They are very entertaining things to get through. As I said, very time-consuming game. This will not take you a weekend to finish. It might even take you several months to finish it because of just how long it is. But I recommend that you should play it if you own PC, PS4. Get it if you can. I mean, it's up to you if you want to play it, but it is a good game. It's worth your money, and it's definitely a really fun game. So that's my opinion of The Witcher 3. Hope you enjoyed what I had to say, and as always, take care.